Welcome to another video. So you join me here with Matthew Bartlett at the Reach Climbing Wall. It's a climbing centre in southeast London in Greenwich, isn't it? We're in?
Woolwich, SE18 5 November Romeo.
I shall put the web address in the description if I remember. So Matthew, you're a climbing instructor, aren't you?
Indeed.
What exactly made you get into this, this kind of job role? And
well, in the younger years, I enjoyed climbing as a sport. Back in the 1980s, climbing slightly different to the climbing that we have now, but I lived relatively close to some natural rock faces. Tunbridge Wells has got some sandstone, and on the beaches of Brighton there are some chalk cliffs, and sometimes they have sort of concrete supports, so I'd be climbing up any surface that was available. And there weren't that many indoor climbing walls then, very, very few. And then I joined the military and had climbing as a part of my military life. Left the army after 4 years, and then was an actor for 10 years. During that period I didn't have the finance to be able to go climbing as often as I'd like. So I had a bit of a hiatus for a decade, and then went into drama teaching. Those who find that they can't financially get a career out of those who can't teach, yes, la-di-da. But teaching in the classroom with inclusive teaching means that a few people can ruin it for everyone. And I actually went to America for 3 months just to see a friend of mine who works over there. And when I came back, my climbing buddy was helping to build this place, and he said, well, come along, and it was only £20 a day. Not a lot, but it's the way to get a foot in the door. Sometimes volunteering can be a great way of getting actually into a place of work and showing an apprenticeship of sorts. So I basically put my time in at the millstone, grinding away, and then they started getting ready to open. I then became a bit of a jobs body round here, doing bits of sorting this, sorting that, and they said, you've got some military qualifications in climbing, can we transfer those? Did cost, which the Reach paid for. They paid for my SPA training, so I've got the SPA Single Pitch Award, and have been the head of youth provision here for 6 years now. So sometimes getting in there, getting your hands dirty, getting into the trench will help you get some employment at the end.
So what would you say to someone who's thinking, someone who was like me when I was, when I first started coming here, who wasn't sure about, was quite scared, but kind of liked the adrenaline of, like who you see on TV, like Bear and Ray and, Les Stroud. What would you say to someone like that but they're scared of heights at the same time?
What is being scared of heights? Let's look at that, because I think it's the nub of the question. Fear. You may have no fear posters, go out and do it, feel the fear, do it anyway. Fear is actually a set of chemicals and electrical signals going around your brain, and it starts with the amygdala, which is about here. If you imagine my brain like so, the amygdala sits in the second level, the hippocampus hypothalamus area. It's the reptilian part. It is your fight, flight, and I believe you've got a freeze, which is the most common. And if you watch the David Cronenberg movies, the possible other F, which is fornicate. But the fight or flight and freeze are the predominant ones. And this part of your brain, it's an instinct, so it will fire first. Someone goes up behind you and goes boo, your instant reaction is and most likely to go into the freeze. Some people turn around and punch.
I was going to say there are stories of...
There are those fails on the internet, yes.
Well, no, I don't just mean that. I mean, like, I don't know if this is true, but I was watching Jack Dee, the comedian, before he was in Hereford. You know what's in Hereford, the SAS base?
I know a little bit about what's in Hereford,
yeah. And he was saying he met, who I don't know who it was, but I can guess who it was. Saying he was going, don't come up behind me, Jack. My reactions are so, so in tune. Don't come up behind me, Jack. My nan, she's got four holes in her head from where she came up behind me, Jack. Don't come up behind me, Jack. That kind of stuff is just like, is that second nature? Did they teach you that? Or is that just because you're a psychopath?
I think there may be something to do with a level of paranoid psycho Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about that, but yeah, I think there's a...
Apparently he was a little short bloke.
Yeah.
But yeah...
There are certain people who have got reputations for doing certain things, but a reputation is... It's something that enters the room before you and sometimes dissipates when the real person then comes in and the reputation doesn't match. So wait till you meet the real people, find out what they're like, and most of the time they're okay. And if they're not okay, it might be that they're just having a bad day. I don't like to speak ill of people unless I am very confident of the ground I'm standing on. But no, in terms of, back to the question, Ray Mears, Bear Grylls, these people are very adept at their profession. I mean, Ray Mears is the best firelighter I'd possibly say in the world. Bear Grylls, I mean, he does it for the more active television shows, the Discovery Channels, the Channel 4s, and he's been asked to do it in a certain way. I know that he thinks quite highly of Ray Mears. I also know that Ray Mears may not feel quite so highly about Bear Grylls. I know that Lofty Wiseman believes he could eat the both of them if they were all to share a desert island together. But the fact is that they're all able to understand how to control this fear, this amygdala thinking, because there's another part of the brain which combats the amygdala, and this is our advanced brain ever since we stood up from the Australopithecus era, which is Lucy, who stood up and became bipedal. Before that we were swinging, we were brachiating in the jungle.
You're still doing that?
I still do it a little bit. I still have a bit of a tail, and I like bananas. The brachiation, the swinging, and a level of compression means that it's allowed this front part of the brain to develop, and that's your logic. That's the reason that you can, you know, work mathematics, possibly even have the level of consciousness that we've got. And it also brings the thinking away from the amygdala. So if ever you are in a fearful situation, there are things like self-talk, talking to yourself, and you see people on the wall, I'm all right, I'm okay, I can do this, I can do this. There's a centering. Centering means you just stop and you bring yourself back to the reason why you were doing it. And actors use this. It's part of called a centre of attention. So if you're Macbeth and you've got your scene with, is this a dagger I see before me, it's bloody handle, gouts of blood, etc. You're imagining that knife, and if you suddenly lose your focus, you suddenly realise, what am I doing? Everyone's looking at me, I get scared. But if you can bring that thinking into the prefrontal cortex, then you've got a chance of getting out of the cycle of fear. So for people when they first start climbing, if you're scared, then test the system. Gain trust in the system. When you go over to your holidaying over in America or in Africa, how do you get there? Most people go in a plane. Do you trust the pilot? Well, you hope so. You trust that he's not been drinking. What about all of the 15,000 parts that are in the engine alone? But if one part of that's been put in wrong,
then it's all...
You've got to trust the mechanics, you've got to trust the airlines. So there's that element of trust.
Trusting your equipment.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
You've got to trust the equipment, the way it's used, and the fact that you've got the knowledge base to use it. Because it doesn't matter what you've got as a piece of kit. If you don't know how to use it, it's weight. It's pure weight, and you've just got to carry it and get rid. Unless you know how to use that, doesn't matter how good that firelighting set is. If you can't RTFM, and I'll give you the civilian version of that, which is read the flaming manual, then you're not going to operate properly, and you're going to either break yourself, or it's just not going to work. So if you're testing stuff, the rope system that we've got, if you're doing top roping, test the rope at the bottom. If your bum goes from where it is now to the floor, you may get a small bruise. It's not quite going to be the same as falling from 15 metres, in which case you're taking a blue lighted taxi to A&E. So these are things, test the system, gradually nudge your comfort zone up. There are two major ways that you can deal with fear or that phobic part of your brain. The submersion method and the nudging method. The submersion method is, I'm an arachnophobe, I don't like 8-legged creatures with a bunch of eyes, and they do that horrible sort of tasting with their ear. So what you do is you strap my arm down onto a board so that I can't get away, and you get a bucket load of spiders and you pour them all over me. And you expose me to that for a period of about 3 to 5 minutes, and then my serotonin, dopamine, adrenal glands, cortisol, all the other fear chemicals are produced by my body, and I come close to having a heart attack, or I have a heart attack.
Yeah.
If I survive that moment and I don't have a heart attack, my chemicals just suddenly say, I can't make that anymore. I cannot make any more of that fear chemical, so I'm just going to stop. And you can overcome it.
Yeah.
In the same way that I get people to the top of a wall with a blindfold, get them to take it off, it resets their fear dial.
Yeah, it does make sense, yeah.
But the nudging method is just to go up to that point where you're feeling comfortable, test, come back forward, climb up a bit, test. And as you nudge yourself up, you gain a slow confidence and trust in the system. And once you've got that confidence and trust, there is nothing that can stop you. So that's what I'll do to people who are starting out. And just one other thing, magazinitis is a danger to the modern society. If you are a tiddlywinker, you suddenly got to tiddlywinks, whatever sport you want, you can pick. You then look at the Tiddlywink Monthly, the magazine that accompanies that sport.
Yeah.
There'll be the world champion on the cover, or somebody of that ilk, in a world champion tiddlywinking pose. And then you, as a male who has testosterone and an ego, want to copy that.
Yeah.
If I want to be one of the world's best, I see David Beckham on the cover of a magazine, I try and do a spot kick. I'm breaking the neighbour's window because it's going to go and hack right off to the left. I haven't had the practice.
And training.
The training, the practice, that level of your body doing it, kinesthetic understanding, happens on layers that scientists are still discovering new and fascinating parts, that you can increase your ability to do something by not necessarily actually doing it, but just by thinking it and visualising your body doing it.
Yeah.
So there are these ways that you need to put your time in the mine. You need to be chipping at that rock face, gaining that muscular memory so that you can do that to that, or even the advanced one, that. And this is exact opposite. The only way you can do it is 500 slow ones, where you do that, pass it through, swap it over.
Yeah.
You've got to do the practice to get good at stuff. You cannot plug into the matrix and know kung fu. Remember that.
I mean, we hear stories about the people that thrive off of that kind of stuff, though. Like, yes, they're scared, but it's kind of like a drug for them. And I found that has been once or twice for me when I've been here, or if I've, like if something's happened with my climbing equipment, or if anything, it's kind of enhanced the experiences for them. What do you think of that? Do you think
I think adrenaline is one of the most addictive substances behind nicotine. Certainly psychologically. I mean, physical addiction is something that we can control because it's key bonded into our system. It's not like taking morphine, which is highly addictive physically, but not quite as addictive psychologically. People can come off morphine, but nicotine, cigarettes are one of the hardest things to give up.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at that ability to try and say, am I going to use the chemical, or do I let the chemical use me? This big thing about use or abuse. When you come down here, as long as you are becoming better, as long as you are enhancing yourself and your life, then I'd say come in here and do it the way that you want to go and do it. Have the level of adrenaline that you want. I mean, that's the reason why we film horror movies, why they make roller coasters. We like to play at that element of
yeah.
See what I mean? We've got that. It's a natural part of us. It's a practice. It makes us better at running away from the saber-toothed cat. But there is something which we can push stuff too far. Your body is an amazing biological responsive mechanism. If I take you every morning and do that to your head, then after 10 years your skull will double in thickness.
Yeah, it does with boxers, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know Trevor Hugh Roy Curry, who was British heavyweight, 1985 I think, and I was up at hospital with him when he had something bottled him when he was working on the door, and I saw his skull x-ray and it's twice the thickness of mine. Muay Thai fighters have shins which are actually harder than ceramic because they get microfractures which re-heal with calcium, so they can kick through ash and maple baseball bats. But if you take your shin and then I hit it with all of the force that these guys have accumulated over the decades, it will shatter your leg, it'll probably take it off.
Exactly.
So you need the time to do it. Now when you're climbing, the main weak link, this bit here, everything is being held by the flexors and abductors. So to train the arm to build up that ability to hold your body weight isn't something that can happen within a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's months. It's coming regularly. It's putting a steady, gradual training process that doesn't push you beyond your limits. I don't know if you remember me saying about things like the marathon. But what happens at 23 miles on the marathon, or between, sort of, depending on who you are.
Isn't it the runner's wall?
The runner's wall. Do you know what the wall is?
It's where they feel as if they can't run anymore.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because they're so exhausted.
They're so exhausted. The chemical, ATP, adenosine 5-triphosphate, this chemical is your molecular unit of currency. It links with the oxygen molecule. It causes heat, energy, the muscle to contract, so you'll get your movement. It also produces carbon dioxide and lactic acid. And if you have run 23 miles, there is no way that you can have any more ATP in your system. You've used it all. You've hit the empty. Then what does your body do? What does it eat first?
Eat your body fat.
You wish it would. Everybody who's got that little spare tyre wishes that when you reach the wall, you burn your body fat. No, you burn your muscle. You eat yourself. It's called a state of...
I know you eat yourself, but I didn't know it was your muscle.
You eat yourself. It's necrosis. You are entering a state of necrosis. You are eating yourself. In the same way that climbers above 24,000 feet are in the dead zone.
Yeah.
No matter how much you sleep, eat or rest, you're dying. So why climb above 24,000 feet?
Yeah.
What happened in this year's marathon?
I believe it was a soldier that died. The funny thing is that
Someone from 2-9, sort of an element that I have a little bit of familiarity with, because I've spent my time down in
that's
Livingston.
actually one of the next questions. The funny thing about that is, at the 5 mile mark, I took his picture.
Really?
At the 5 mile mark,
Blimey, yeah.
it's sitting at home on my laptop.
I mean, it's...
And I read it on the news, sort of thing, and I just turned around to Shannon, my wife, and I was just like, Shannon, I've got him. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, at the 5 mile mark, I've got him on this laptop. You know, it was.
It's a thing which there's levels of tragedy. You know, if you have somebody who's taken away from their family at a very young age, people say, "Oh, that's so tragic." If there is one true statement that could be said about everybody on this planet, it's not that they hold this religion or they are that race or creed or sexuality or gender. It's that we're all going to die.
Oh yeah.
If you look at what life actually is.
At the end of the day, you know, you're still going to end up 6 feet down in a...
Whichever way you wish to...
in a 6 foot box.
Spend eternity, or that your family can afford you to spend eternity. If you look at life, the fundamentals of it are, we are all part of a 100% fatal sexually transmitted disease called life. Sex got us into it, we shall live, and then we will die. The bit in between the living and the dying, that is the key part. And if we focus on that, as opposed to worrying about the coulda, shoulda, woulda, the possibly, maybe, one day, they're either side. There's a moment here and now. No, not then. I mean, it's this. This is what we live in. And this is when you, Alex, define who you are by your actions. Are you the kind of person who wants to go over and go, yeah, I'll have your wallet? Or are you the person that goes, hey, here's my hand, let me help you?
Yeah.
I may come from Samaria, but that person who was, you know, in the biblical texts despised as this, you've got the compassion possibility in all humans. And if we all were to feed the good wolf, if we were all to be more compassionate, actually look at those people who have disability and not try and take away their funding, but to encourage them, enhance them. There are people who have got disabilities who have become some of the world's best composers, some of the greatest scientists. They are still part of the human condition. So when it comes down to any questions that deal with, are you wanting to be the helper or are you wanting to be the taker?
Yeah.
I've found that I get so much more out of life. And I do this job, okay, yes, there's a wage attached to it, it's not a big one.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get to a point where I can start paying off my student loan because I'll never earn enough, and I'm quite happy with that. As I said, I've come in and enjoyed my time here for 7 years, and I'm not sure if I've done a day's work in any of those 7 years. Teaching you, you may think that it was difficult. I loved it. It's helping people. It's so that they can get into life and they can understand, look, I'm not going to be scared. Fear is what holds you back in the interview, the exam, when you're asking Shannon out that first time. Will you go to a dance with me? If you're too scared to go and ask, you're inhibited. Fear stops you from getting all the things that you want to go and do that are going to enrich your life. So, stopping people being fearful is what I'm here for. And it's allowing them to have fun, put a smile on their face, get rid of all of that rubbish from work. Leave it in the bin at work because that's where it belongs. Work is a contract. It's a 4-letter word. Like S-H-T. But that 4-letter word means that you will get paid and you put time in for that pay. Just lay that where it is in the 5 days they want you to do it, sometimes the 6. But do you want to live to work or do you want to work to live? Because I don't want to live to work. I want to work so that I can go out and enjoy those moments where I can see my friends bringing up their kids. I can go and see my family and catch my nephew and tickle him. These are the kind of bits that you can do in your own time, but being generally nice, it just feels better in life.
Now you were talking about military. You were in the military?
Yes.
What was your experience like in that? Because I've applied for that. I even managed to get the, what was it? I think it was a 10-minute mile they do, or a 4-minute mile, or something like that.
Yeah, you have your basic fitness test.
But I think I was only like 30 seconds out, and there was other reason why they didn't accept me. But what was it like for yourself?
I enjoyed my time. Really did. I ended up actually resigning my commission, and I was in at the beginning of the 90s. It's a long, long time ago, before you were even a glint in your father's eyes. But during that period of time, Gulf One happened. And at that point, although I was very young and very naive, I could start to see the picture. And when you become an employee, you get to see what that employment is like from behind the veil. You can get to see the reasons why, the bits that don't necessarily make it into the media. Condoleezza Rice had actually given Saddam Hussein the green light to invade Kuwait in 1990 by saying that the American administration shall consider it a southern Mesopotamian internal dispute. The fact that Rumsfeld, another neoconservative who I believe should stand trial for war crimes, they are starting to use the project for the new American century, the PNAC, this idea of America's playing a game of risk. And we want to have an airbase here, 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 and here. We want that resource, oil, because they're the biggest oil-consuming country on the planet. So what they want to do is they want to have this level of control. And when I signed my commission papers, although I'm not a religious person, I said on my honour and for the Queen, so it's not that I believe in God. Certainly not a Christian or a Jewish or a Islamic form of God, even though they're all the same God. And the fact that they're fighting so much about believing in the same God absolutely makes me laugh in a rather sad way. But there is some form of divine creator that is so big and divine, so much bigger than us, we're not meant to fully understand it. We're not meant to know his word. But I signed on the premise of my honour and the Queen, and there's no president anywhere in those two. In the Gulf, I actually have some targeting papers that ask for strikes to go onto civil infrastructure, mainly water purification. The idea that the Americans have is that if you take away a leader's ability to give his people clean water, then you can actually make the people overthrow their own leader. And I've spoken to the Hans Blix and Scott Ritter teams when I was doing an anti-war play called The Madness of George W. and the consequent follow-ups, which was Guantanamo Bay Watch and what was the other one? I'll have to look this one up again. There was Guantanamo Bay Watch, Madness of George W, and there was a third one to the trilogy that was done in the Players Theatre underneath Charing Cross. And in these, we got to speak with the actual members of the weapons of mass destruction team that were hunting for these weapons that Saddam had. And we know he did have them, yes, because we have the receipts. He bought them from us.
Yeah.
We have imported them down, and Russia and France and America have their own chemical and biological, or dear George W. Bush, our chemological weapons. We have that level of hypocrisy of saying, okay, you can't have them, but we'll sell them to you earlier on to get oil deals and get your finance, and then when you use them on the Kurds or
whoever you want to.
Yeah. Then we'll start raising our moral high finger. But ever since Thatcher came into power, we became an arms-dealing nation as opposed to a services-providing nation. And that means that we've been selling stuff to Indonesia, we've been helping with a number of bad causes around the world which won't hit the news. Maybe in 20 years' time we'll realise just how nefarious our leading powers have been.
Yeah.
But we have got that level of complicity. And what happened in Iraq under a UN census, this is our people counting the figures, because with the Article 22 list of stuff that we wouldn't allow Saddam to buy after 1991, because it could be made into a chemicalogical weapon, we stopped him having things like chlorine that can clean water. And the idea was that the people would throw out their leader and say, we want clean water. But Saddam was actually very good at distributing what chlorine he had to his people, and they became more reliant on it. So he completely managed to backfire the CIA box plan, and instead 500,000 children died from cholera, typhoid and other waterborne related diseases. I don't want to be part of that because that's biological warfare, so I resigned my commission.
Yeah.
I believe that the politics that send us to places are very, very flawed, and for anybody who's going to join the military, you need to be able to deal with that. You need to sit down with yourself and talk to yourself about what you'd be able to do that would help you go to sleep with the faces that come up. And then when you wake up, the faces are there as well. Those faces of Iraqis trying to leave their tank that's suddenly been hit by a high explosive anti-tank round, or a high explosive squash head round, which would just mash the people up inside, or the fin discarding sabos. All of these, there are so many different ways that you can end up dead, and the people will get burnt alive, run their way out, and that's a set of images that
never leave you.
Neither does the smell, and that's the key part. And some of these people may have been quite innocent. Conscripts who were forced to be there. Republican Guard would always be way behind. Since when do you know a leader that's at the front?
Yeah.
There
Wasn't Queen... I think it was Queen Vic, wasn't she? She led one... I know she led one battle, if I remember correctly. My history could be off.
Could well be. I'll look up that.
But
That'd be
if
an
I
interesting
remember correctly, I remember Queen Victoria, she was... Well, like most royalty, she was at least in the military, as far as to my knowledge.
I'll have a look at that one. That'll be an interesting one to have a look at.
I know our current queen that we've got at the moment, Queen Elizabeth. She was working.
I think that most.
She was at Woolwich Arsenal making the bullets during the second.
Yes, there's truth. There is truth in that one. I mean, the latest campaigns. I think that the Second World War was possibly one of the last wars that had a level of justification to it.
Yeah.
But most leaders now, Blair was quite happy to send thousands of people over, and a lot of those didn't come back. Plus the fact you've got to realise that more people die after the war than die during it. This is true of every single war.